Hi, I'm Colton, and this is Zach, and today we're here with
Ayub.
and we're going to interview him about some of his culture and where he's from. So, where are you from?
So I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and my parents are originally from Somalia, but they both lived in Ethiopia for some time.
And what are some major cultural differences you've noticed between being here versus Ethiopia?
So I'd say most of the restaurants or stores in Ethiopia, they have a wider selection of like vegetables, fruits, etc. And most of the stuff there is organic instead of what we have, which we have GMOs in our foods and meats and everything.
Nice. So what would you say is one thing that the United States does better than Africa?
I'd say the United States does a lot better with safety, because when I was in Addis Ababa, which is a city in Ethiopia, there were multiple kidnappings that were around me, and you know, in America that's not as common. And basically in Addis Ababa, I had to be with someone at all times so I could avoid not getting kidnapped whenever I went into the bad places of the city, basically.
And what's something you say that Ethiopia does better?
They do better with their food and how organic it is. Yeah.
Hater Chick-fil-A, I guess.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite place in Africa, do you think?
I would say Addis Ababa because the weather was really nice. It was like a cool 60 degrees the whole time I was there, and while it was summer. And one other place I would like is Somalia, and specifically a city called Garowe. It had nice weather as well, which is why I liked it. So, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
No problem.
मुझसे पर्दा करो
Joker Bali by Rabindranath Tagore is an emotional and thought-provoking novel set in early 20th century Bengal. It follows the life of Binodini, a young widow who, despite social stigma, is very intelligent, beautiful, and well-educated. It follows her returning to her in-laws' home after her husband's death, which is against the social stigma in India at the time, where widows were typically sent to supposed camps where widows would stay together. In this setting, they're supposed to be mournful and not remarry or have desires, but Binodini challenges this in the novel by desiring her best friend's husband. Torn between love, passion, and societal expectations, she becomes entangled in this complex web of relationships where some choices come with very heavy consequences. It's a powerful exploration of human emotions, love, betrayal, guilt, and the struggle between personal freedom within tradition. Through Binodini's story, Tagore examines the clash between individual desires and social stigma and judgment. So, what is your perception of a widow?
To me, a widow is somebody who, a wife who their husband had died. I couldn't imagine being in that situation. I think it would be really awkward and really hard to mourn the loss of somebody, but then still have that yearning for love and not knowing where to find it.
Awesome. If society did not allow you to pursue love and relationships, what would you do?
I think that would be really hard because you'd feel lonely and you wouldn't really have anybody to go to when you're in need, and you just have that kind of empty feeling in your heart. For me, what would I do? I don't know. I'd probably just focus on myself and just really pursue my career, I guess. Yeah.
Good answer. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, in this story, Benoni develops romantic feelings for a married man. What advice would you give to her if you were her friend?
I think, does this man plan on staying married?
Yes.
Then I think she should probably back off more ethically. Yeah.
For sure.
That's yeah.
She should back off. How do you think that society should treat widows?
I think maybe part of the reason she's falling in love with men and married men is because the protections men would give her in society. So if society had economic reparations for women in situations like these, they'd be able to be independent and stable on their own and wouldn't need to be in situations where they'd be falling in love with married men to maybe better their own situation.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
على حسب وداد قلبي يا ابويا راح اقول للزين سلامات.
Hi, so we are here with
Sarah.
we're here with Sarah, and we just wanted to ask you about the story 1001 Nights. So have you heard of this story before?
Yes, I have. Not too long ago, I did hear about it from a friend, and it's a really good story because it offers lessons about determination, and it shows how a woman uses her compassion and determination to save thousands of lives within 1001 Nights. Should I talk more about it?
So we just wanted to ask about like any cultural significance that the literature has on the region or on the people, or any themes that you thought were good, or if this is relevant in like your family or your community at all, or if you were taught this in like when you were a child, or any experience when you were first introduced to it.
Yeah, so when I first heard of the story, I guess it kind of gives a lesson to communities in general. It's, I believe, a Middle Eastern story, and so it was important to the Middle Eastern communities because it kind of showed how through a woman's determination and using her wiseness, she was able to save the lives of hundreds of women and prevented them from being killed because she was able to trick a king into listening to a story every night, even though the story never finished, but that helped her save so many women. And so I just think that this kind of gives lessons to kids or even adults that when it comes to protecting others, you'll have to be clever and think of unique ways to solve problems.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, have y'all ever heard of 1001 Arabian Nights before?
I've heard of it. I think my mom had the book when I was young, like a little book of it when I was younger, but I don't think I've ever read it. I don't think she also ever read it to me. She just had it.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never actually like read the whole book, but I've heard like stories from it in various settings. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And do you know like when you first heard about it? Because I know that your mom had it, so you probably heard about it when you were younger. Okay.
When I first heard about it?
Yeah. When did you first hear about it?
When I was like a kid.
When you were a kid?
Yeah, like I'm sure like my parents or someone probably read like one of the stories to me, but yeah, and like you see like sometimes parts of them in like the library, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember anything about the stories, or do you know any components about it, or how it is any benefit?
I think for the most part it was a lot of like, it was, from what I remember, and if I'm remembering it correctly, it was like a lot of just, the themes were very like life, like important themes to just carry on throughout life. I think it was like there was one about like not lying or something like that. There were very like vital, like important, I don't know how to describe it, how I'm supposed to say it. I feel like I'm being recorded, so I'm even more stressed. But life lessons, yes. There are a lot of life lessons in that I think you just like take away, and like morals that you keep, and like stories that like reiterate those morals.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to add? Like, what do you know or like remember about the story, and like what stuck with you, and how was it culturally significant?
Well, a lot of like names in the story were like in Arabic, and I went to Islamic school, so I had heard a bunch of like different names from the stories in there, and like the stories themselves, I think we did learn about them. I mean, yeah, like what she said about the messages from the story, those are pretty significant. I don't remember anything specific, but I'm going through like the list of all of them, and I was like, oh, these are definitely bringing back some memories. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that's like all the questions. So
okay.
You'll do good.
Okay, so can you say your name?
My name is Amani Mustafa.
Okay, and where are you from?
Palestine.
Okay. So between Palestine and America, what are some major cultural differences that you see?
The definite major cultural differences that I see here as a Muslim woman who dresses modestly is definitely modesty and essentially shyness. So America, everything is hypersexualized, and it's not really creating an environment where I feel very comfortable in, especially when I feel pressured to kind of show more skin than I'm usually comfortable with. While in Palestine, I'm free to cover as much as I please.
Okay. Awesome.
without feeling uncomfortable.
So, what is one good and bad thing about America compared to the Middle East?
Good thing about America is how easily accessible everything is, like grocery stores, hospitals, all of that essentially. But bad, I would probably say, again, like different values. You don't really see family values in America as much as you do over there. I feel like they just don't prioritize family at all, and everybody's quick to cut off family members.
And then lastly, do you prefer American food or Middle Eastern food?
Middle Eastern food all the way.
What is your favorite dish?
It's called kubbib laban or shish barak. It's essentially the two variations of the same dish. One of them is they're both in a yogurt sauce, but one of them has kubbe, which is essentially like meat rounds stuffed with more meat. And another one is called shish barak, which is essentially kind of like Arab dumplings, also in that same yogurt sauce.
That sounds good. Thank you.